Hey guys, and welcome to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. A few days ago I did a video where we had a look at the next generation, or a potential next generation FPGA consoles, potential successors, something that may actually dethrone the MiSTer FPGA and take the throne as the next generation FPGA console that will get adapted. And that was a lot of fun, and now I want to do a different one. So this one here is bang for buck MiSTer FPGA, what you can buy. So it's either something you can buy and it will ship immediately, or it's something that you can pre-order and get in the coming weeks or months. There's a lot of options there with MiSTer FPGA, where previously we had to buy a DE10 Nano board, buy accessories, then you had sellers that were selling you like an all-in-one bundle because, hey, sometimes we want to pay for convenience. So what I want to do is I'm going to start with S, A+, A, and B. So guys, there is no competition here. When it comes to the S grade, it really is the SuperStation 1, and I'll explain why, because I've got a whole heap of tabs open here. So here's the SuperStation 1. First of all, it looks really good. It's an injection molded case. It's not 3D printed or anything. It is a very professional product. Now this is essentially a MiSTer FPGA, but the company behind it, Retro Remake, have done so much more with this. I mean, you've got a nice choice of colors here. Here you go. You can get it in black, blue, or like that classic kind of gray or whitish gray. Always looks a little bit different in pictures. So you've got different choice of colors in there. Now it should be shipping very soon for the Founders Edition, and I think the people that backed the Founders Edition actually bagged this for like $149.99 or $150 for argument's sake. The price now, if you were to pre-order it, I think is $200. We will have a look at that in just a second. But built-in support for modern TVs and CRTs, and you can output simultaneously to a CRT and a modern display. That's a feature of pretty much all the analog MiSTer FPGA devices out there, unless you're going dual RAM. Okay, looks kind of nice here. Kind of want to go down here, the technical specifications. So the hardware, guys, Cyclone 5 FPGA, same as like an original DE10 Nano, 128 megabytes BGA SD RAM, which is on board, and a 24-bit ADV7125 video DAC, built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so you don't need a dongle for that, so bear that in mind. NFC reader with support for Zapparoo, so that means the NFC reader is built in, so you can get your cards, tap it on your SuperStation 1 and launch whatever MiSTer game you want, as long as you set it up. So support for active passive cooling. So originally I think it comes as passive cooling, but then you can buy it like a silent fan, and it's a tiny little cost, but you can run it just with passive cooling without having a fan. So that's kind of down to you. Video output, HDMI, 1536p, 1440p, obviously 1080p as well. VGA, DIN10 composite, RCA, and components. It has a lot of video output options. Audio, 3.5mm audio, analog audio, or Toslink digital audio. Naturally, audio goes through HDMI as well. Ports, you've got USB Type-C for power. This is a big advantage that the Retro Remake consoles have. They have power via USB-C, so it's easy moving it around. You don't need to keep a power barrel device with you. Me personally, for like ease of use and just like a modern kind of power input, I definitely prefer USB-C. So you've got 3 times USB-A ports, an Ethernet port, TF card slot, which this runs on a micro SD, and it's positioned at the front, so that should be quite handy, and hopefully it won't fall in the case like the MiSTer Stack system. Really, it shouldn't be doing that. So dual combo PS1 snack port. So this does, so at the front you can plug in PlayStation 1 controllers and they run a snack. There's also a snack bypass port which comes with a dock. We'll have a look at the dock in just a second. So IO expansion slot for Super Dock, that's what we'll look at next. So when you buy it, you get the SuperStation 1, you get a 64GB micro SD card with some pre-installed software, including the lovely front end, which we'll have a look at in a second. You get a HDMI cable and a USB Type-C cable. So the only thing you need with this is like an old phone charger. It does comply with the power delivery protocol, so if you use a power, it will scale the power down. Naturally, it's better to use the recommended voltage wherever possible, the wattage, but yeah, it will scale it down. With my MiSTer Pi that uses USB Type-C, I use like an old Pixel charger and I've had 0 issues with it. So moving along, if you did want to pre-order it right now, it looks like the normal price when it goes into stock is going to be $225, but if you did want to order it now, it's $199 US. Now that doesn't include any taxes that you may pay, whichever country you're in, and it doesn't include delivery. So for the UK, add 20% for taxes. that will be $240, and as well as that, like delivery, whatever the delivery amount is. I don't think it's extortionate here or anything like that. So, and you can get that Q1 2026. So we've got 3 months left in, or 3.5 months left in 2025. So you can get it in Q1 2026. There are people that have ordered this, and hopefully the orders will start shipping soon. Taki Udon, one of the people behind Retro Remake, has actually been showing off like the completed version over on their X account. Then you've got the Super Dock. At a Super Dock, you pay a $5 deposit. You get whatever Superstation 1 you ordered, you get a matching color to go with that, and the price for that is supposed to be $40. So for an additional $40, you can get a dock. Now the dock brings a lot of benefits with it. It plays optical media, it's got additional USB ports, you can do stuff like snack bypass and use different snack adapters with it. It's really freaking cool, the features this thing has. I'm pretty sure this has a real-time clock as well, but don't quote me on that. I don't think, did we see it down there? I can't remember, maybe I read it out and I forgot. But let's have a look here. Okay, so this stuff here is really cool. So it's going to come with a front end. This is the front end it's going to have. Taki Udon previously showed, as you can see down here, the console side, and more recently they showed the arcade side of it. So you have a snazzy and nice front end, especially if you're coming over to MiSTer FPGA for the first time. It's going to be eye-opening for you. You're going to be like, wow, okay, this is a nice front end. This is how I can find and discover games. Well, if we pause that one and play this one here is the console one that Taki Udon showed previously. So this is a welcome addition. I quite like the MiSTer menu for its minimalism, but it is also nice having choices, and I'm sure a lot of people will really appreciate a front end like this. So here you go, work in progress. Looking forward to this when this comes with a Superstation 1. For anyone else that's wondering out there, this will be made available to MiSTer FPGA users, so you'll be able to use this in any MiSTer that you please once Taki releases this in the wild sometime after the launch of the Superstation 1. As well as that, some of the other stuff that we are looking at over here. So added preliminary support for loading PC Engine CD games from disk without dumping on the Superstation 1. So the Superstation 1 Super Dock will let you dump your optical media. Let's just start with PlayStation, but as well as that, you can actually play your games directly if that's what you want to do. If you want that nostalgia kick, you want to load stuff directly, the option is there. But as well as PlayStation 1, it's doing Mega CD, it's doing PC Engine CD, it's doing Mega CD, with potentially any corner MiSTer FPGA that is based on CDs, on optical media, with that media being accepted by the Super Dock. So some really exciting stuff happening there. What have we got over here? Okay, so this is a byproduct of when you're using that Super Dock, you can actually play audio CDs on there on stuff like the PlayStation Core, where it accepted CDs and you could jam and listen to your music CDs back then. Well, you can still do that there. I feel like I can hear that, but I'm pretty sure, did I mute my sound? No, I didn't mute my sound. That's probably why I can hear it, but I have cut it out for you guys. So that's a really cool feature. And along with running your music CDs, you can get that visualizer kicking off, you know, so it really is a rocking party. Finally, what have I got open here? Okay, so this was really interesting. So here Taki Udon is showing cartridge support. Now it's initial. Now this is running directly from the cartridge according to Taki Udon. It's taken quite a while to load, and naturally this is something that will have to be speeded up. Like, what is it, like 20-30 seconds to load a game? But again, it looks like cartridge support may be on the horizon via some kind of adapter, some kind of adapter that you can get for the Superstation 1. And this is my reasoning behind why I have put this in S tier, because really, you're spending $200 with the dock, $240 plus taxes and everything, but what you are getting in return is one heck of a crazy experience. Yes, it's just a MiSTer FPGA, but it definitely feels like the final evolution of the MiSTer FPGA. The amount of work that's gone in here, the amount of features it brings, just even quality of life stuff like USB power input. It really is the best option for bang for buck. Right, then if we move over to the A+ tier, right? So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna start with the QM-Tech one, right? So let's go with QM-Tech, which is over here. Right, let's bring that up here and I'll give my reasoning behind it. Now, from what I recall, QM-Tech made an alternative MiSTer FPGA slightly before the MiSTerPi was released, slightly before. They're both in the making, and I'm pretty sure these guys got there first. It's just, you know, with Retro Remake and the MiSTerPi, you've got Takyudan, who's got a big following on YouTube, and definitely like more in tune with the social media side. So that definitely is the bigger project. However, you know, don't dismiss QM Tech. I don't actually have one. A few very close friends of mine have one, and they say it's freaking awesome. There's no issues with it. Now, provided you buy it from the official QM Tech store, this one here. There are some clones of these alternatives that use cheaper components, and people have issues with specific cores, but most specifically, the cores they have issues with are the N64 and the PlayStation, the Saturn, the more powerful cores on the system. So if you do buy yourself a QM Tech one, then make sure you are buying it from the QM Tech official store. Anyone I know that has an original QM Tech has only spoken highly of it. You got people like from the YouTube channel, What's Ken Making? They've actually used the QM Tech DE10 NANO alternative board to make a handheld MiSTer. So this is really, really good from everything that I've heard. And look, this comes in at $188. Well, $0.7, and that's with 15% off, but it usually does have an offer, and you can get another $2 off. Shipping to the US is $12.47, and I have no idea what your tariff or charges will be. Again, for me in the UK, we will add 20% to that, but I'm doing all of these as before tax, because tax rates are different, and when most people advertise stuff, they advertise it without the tax being included, because it ships to your country and your country decides we are going to tax you. The only thing I'll say is, if you're ever ordering anything in the UK off AliExpress, and it's like, I think there's a threshold, it's like 135 or 140 pounds. If it's below that amount, you don't actually pay VAT on it. It said that on one of my last orders, and sure enough, I didn't pay any VAT on this. So yeah, in the A+ category, the first one is the QM Tech one, and the reason is you can get it cheaper. It does everything an original DE10 Nano MiSTer FPGA setup does. No issues. It just plays. It just works. But if we have a look at the specifications, okay, so packaging content. So you get the Cyclone 5 with 128 megabyte built-in SD RAM, QM Tech official IO board, VGA display, 3.5mm audio header, snack, 4-port USB hub, RTC, but it doesn't include the battery, so you need to put that in there. So this comes with a real-time clock, so maybe I got confused between this and the Superstation one, but QM Tech MiSTer case are all ready to go, and that's what we're looking at. There are different configurations available of some of the stuff we'll look at, but we are looking at one where everything is just ready. The most you'll have to do is add in an SD card, right? And it also comes with a 32 gigabyte SanDisk micro SD card, one of the USB Type A mini. Okay, sorry, just reading this here. Okay, one EU Type 5 volt DC or one US Type, right? So you get a power supply with this as well, so you are pretty much ready to go. I don't know if it said HDMI cable here. Maybe if it doesn't have one, you need to have your own HDMI cable or whatever you're connecting with it, but you do have a power cable with it, and either an EU style one or a USA one. So if I'm buying it in the UK, I'll need one of those adapters that goes from 2 pins to 3 pins. So very, very good choice here with definitely A+ tier, because what you're paying and what you're getting for it pretty much is you're ready to go. It even comes with a micro SD card. The only thing I think you need here now is a HDMI cable or an analog like a VGA cable in order to output it to a CRT. So an excellent choice. People speak highly of it. Right. Next up in the A+ category, it has to be MiSTerPi, absolutely. And what we're looking at for MiSTerPi over here is we are looking, so there's a few different packs, right? You can buy the RAM bundle, which is $125, which is the cheapest one. You can buy the Mega Pack, which is pretty much very similar to the Turbo Pack, but it doesn't come, you have to install and put everything together yourself, right? Or you can buy the Turbo Pack, which is $185, and that comes with, it's ready to go. And if you look at the contents of the Turbo Pack, MiSTerPi Retro Gaming FPGA board, 128 megabytes BGA SD RAM, MiSTer AV Pro version 9.2, MiSTer USB hub, 64 gigabyte micro SD card, flash with MiSTerPi offline stock. So you've got, like, you know, the MiSTerPi like operating system on there. You can then add your own scripts and whatnot to, you know, to get stuff like update or working on there. It won't be on there, you need to add that yourself, but that's very easy to do. You also get a Wi-Fi 5, Bluetooth 4.2 USB adapter. That's a bonus for the current batch that's on sale. Pre-assembled frosted trusted acrylic shell, 2 meters 6.5 power delivery cable. So this runs via USB Type-C. So the only thing that you need here, it looks like you need a HDMI cable, right? Or your analog cable that you're going to use, a VGA to whatever. But you're going to need like a phone, like a USB Type-C charger, right, in order to power this. So if you've got an old phone charger kicking around, you can use that because this does comply with power delivery. So definitely belongs there. And just like the QM Tech one, this one is pretty much a MiSTer. I have a MiSTer Pi and I've done tests on it. You can check it on the channel, guys, and honestly there's no difference. There is no difference. I've ran them side by side with original DE10 Nanos. Whatever differences there were in there, they were so marginal that I was getting the same differences between two MiSTers that I have that both use original DE10 Nano. So in a nutshell, I have three MiSTers. I have a dual RAM original DE10 Nano MiSTer, a single SD RAM original DE10 Nano MiSTer, and I have the MiSTer Pi single SD RAM. And all of them are exactly the same. There is no difference. So it doesn't make sense to go to buy an original because I personally can't see any advantages at the moment. I haven't come across any issues. Everything has been dandy. So S tier, definitely the Superstation 1. A+ tier will be the QM Tech MiSTer from the official store and MiSTer Pi from Retro Remake. Right, so now let's go over to A tier. Now A tier, guys, I've got to give the guys from MiSTer Multi-System a shout. Now when we had Asian companies or this stuff being produced in Asia, sold on AliExpress and sold on the Retro Remake site, naturally when you're producing stuff in Asia or China or Hong Kong, the production costs are a lot cheaper. So when the MiSTer Pi and the QM Tech MiSTer, a fully loaded bundle, I remember fully loaded bundles averaging for around $600. Now, if you get the choice of buying something for $600 or something for under $200, I mean, you know, there's got to be something very, very good about the original beyond just calling it the original, which will make you want to spend that extra money. So it definitely, a lot of the Western sellers, it really shook up their trade. And this is just a fact. People want to go with cheaper stuff. If I wasn't in the channel and I was just a consumer and I was looking to get into MiSTer, I would buy one of the cheaper ones. I'd be buying either the QM Tech one or the MiSTer Pi one. I wouldn't even look at any of the other ones. Now, out of all of the Western companies, we're talking Europe and USA, there's only one company that came close to competing with them. Now, when it came to price, they couldn't match the prices of the QM Tech or the MiSTer Pi, but they did a really good job trying and attempting to bring down the cost and coming out with a product that is very unique. So I was going to say Enter the Dragon, but hey, let's enter the MiSTer Multi-System 2. Now the price of it is £210 excluding VAT, and I've just put that into Google. So in dollars, that's $282, which sounds fairly reasonable, but it is $100 more expensive than buying, say, a MiSTer Pi, a QM Tech MiSTer, or even a Superstation 1. It's like $80 more than that, and that's not including taxes and delivery. However, it's up to you what you want to go for. If this is what you want to go for, it's not quite as expensive as spending $400 plus now on like an original DE10 Nano. So it's like a compromise in the way, depending on where you want to buy. Now currently these are in the pre-order stage, so they are shipping, but if you order one, they are going out sequentially to customers, and it is a good choice and it is a good device. It's been reviewed by many channels out there, and it's received good feedback. I don't have one at hand, so I can't give you first-hand experience, but from trusted sources, I've only heard good things about this and what it does. Obviously, one of the downsides compared to something like the Superstation 1, this is 3D printed, so with it, the caveats of a 3D print come with it, but on the whole, people are happy with it. I'm pretty sure the case files are open, so you could print your own one and change the colors, and I think they sell different colors as well through a collaboration. So that's 210, but it's not just the 210, right? Because with that, you don't get a HDMI cable. That's fine, that's cheap. You don't get a power supply, and it's not a USB-C power supply. You need one of these power supplies, and I think to go with that, you need a kettle lead as well. But if you buy it from them, that's going to cost you another $18.99. And if I just do, oh, sorry, I've done the wrong one there. It's $18.99. Let's do that on the fly. Sorry, trying to do everything Here, right? Okay, so that's going to cost you like another $25. So if we add 25 to that, we're talking like $307. So that's put the price up quite a bit with the power supply. Now I know the MiSTerFPGA doesn't come with one, but the MiSTerFPGA does use a standard kind of phone charger that you can use. So you may not necessarily have that cost, and you can probably pick up another charger out there. So when we have a look at the $282, it's not quite the exact cost. We also need to factor in this here, which puts it above $300. So that you need to kind of take that into consideration, because you are going to need that. Also, it doesn't come with an SD card, but SD card is, let's just add kind of $10 to that. So what's that, $300+, another 10. So like we're talking like maybe $320 with an SD card, let's say a HDMI cable and a power cable as well. So it does kind of come in at $320, but I still feel it needs to be in that A category, because after S and A plus, it is definitely the best value after the QM Tech and the MiSTerFPGA. And again, it's completely down to you. You may like the form factor. People that have bought it are really happy with it. I did a video recently where you guys were saying you can't wait to get hold of it. And the same thing over here. If we look at the digital version, which is £170, which equates to $229. If we add the cost, okay, add like roughly another $25 to the cost of that one, so 230, 40, what was that, 40, 50, 55, $255 for the digital version. And don't forget, you have to pay delivery and taxes on top of that as well, because we're not showing delivery here. However, it is competing. It's just not able to bring the price lower or as low as the ones in the S or the A plus categories, right? However, you know, I've got to applaud these guys, because they're working hard on this. They're trying to give features, they're listening to the community. They did have proprietary snack adapters, but they are releasing a cartridge which should be out in the next week or so, which will let you run your existing snack adapters if you have it. They've got room for like a Pi add-on underneath, so there's a lot of good stuff happening here. Also, this kind of video over here where they're making an add-on where Taki Udon's or Retro Remake Superstation 1 will run optical media with a plan to run cartridges as well. These guys are showing cartridges running. This is the Game Boy DMG Super Mario Land running on the Robocop. I think at some point they showed a Game Boy camera as well. So the MiSTer multi-system is built for like future expandability. You may get more stuff from it in the future, and hopefully once they kind of go through that pre-order thing, sometimes people don't mind spending like an extra 50% in order to get something quickly, especially if you're in the UK or Europe and you don't have to wait. So really interesting stuff over here. So just kind of going back to this over here, so we've got in the S tier, we've got the Superstation 1, A plus, QM Tech and MiSTerFPGA, and in the A category we've got the MiSTer Multi-System 2, because yes, they've made their own board. They are competing, not quite as cheap as those, but still a good option, and many people have picked that up. Now here comes the kind of sad part now. So here's a seller. This is Ultimate MiSTer. So this is a website, I think they're based in Portugal, but they were big in Europe, so a lot of the Europeans were buying stuff from here. But this is their kind of lowest end bundle, which starts at $350, but it doesn't include stuff like a real-time clock, doesn't include a MIDI MT32 Pi, which to be honest none of them really do, doesn't include any cables. So what it does include is a cooling fan, a power supply, an SD card 32 gig, which is like the default stuff that you get with it. So but that, if we convert €349 over, that puts it at 410, and that's even missing some of the stuff you get with the other one. Like for example, you don't get an NFC reader that you get in the MiSTer Multi-System 2. Sorry, if I didn't mention that, the MiSTer Multi-System 2 has an NFC reader. It has support for Zapparoo, same as the Superstation 1. So you're paying more, but you're getting less. But it's up to you if you think, is it worth paying more in order to say that I have an original DE10 Nano? Maybe it would be if there were some advantages with the original DE10 Nano, but honestly, in my tests, and I've done many, you can check them on the channel, I have not found any differences. So I didn't want to sound it like a low category, but unfortunately, the truth of the matter is, if you want to spend your money, there's not much value left in buying an original DE10 Nano setup, unless you're one of those people that just thinks, I want the original, I don't want an alternative that's been built, a clone or whatever you want to call it. I'm going original, and you're quite happy spending that extra money. So unfortunately, I imagine trade for the legacy sellers, should we say, or the people that are selling the original DE10 Nano, Unfortunately, I can imagine their sales have gone down quite a bit because there are cheaper alternatives out there. And at the end of the day, everything's more expensive. If we can save money somewhere, we will save that money somewhere. Then you've got MiSTer Add-ons that does a pre-configured aluminium case bundle. By the way, guys, that's a really, really nice case. I've got a dual RAM setup of that. And I think when I got the dual RAM setup, it was like $600. This one here was definitely more, but you can see the price has come down, but there's no stock. There hasn't been any stock for this for a while because it's a difficult sell now. It's a difficult sell to sell this when you've got the cheaper options out there. So along with Ultimate MiSTer, you know, like stuff from like sellers like MiSTer Add-ons, unfortunately goes into that B category because it's just difficult to justify spending that when there's cheaper alternatives out there. I know to some extent it may suck, but hey, that's the truth of the matter. When you're getting all these cheaper alternatives, why then are you going to buy something when, you know, from my testing and other people's testing, there's no differences out there. Everything is just working just as good. The good thing about these sellers are like MiSTer Add-ons, for example, they've got like excellent lines. They've got the MiSTerCade, which is a uniquely engineered product, really, really good for arcade machines. So that's still obviously something that's pretty exclusive to them. They have adapters like the Reflex Adapt, absolutely fantastic. I love the Reflex Adapt. You plug it into your MiSTer, you've got controls in the menu, and only for like 1 millisecond of lag. I prefer it to snack unless there's an accessory that snack supports that Reflex Adapt can't. If I have the choice between Reflex Adapt and snack, I generally go for Reflex Adapt for original controllers. So there's definitely other stuff in the ecosystem that they sell, but unfortunately, like a ready-to-go pre-configured MiSTer FPGA bundle from sellers like MiSTer Add-ons and Ultimate MiSTer, they can't compete. They're using an original DE10 Nano. They haven't got it, and that's why they have gone into the lowest category, which is B on this tier list. And you've got MiSTer Multi-System 2, the guys at Herbert, in the A category because they haven't brought the cost down as much as the MiSTer Pi, the QM Tech, and the SuperStation 1. But heck, man, they've definitely tried, and they have come out with something unique, and they have come out with something where people have bought those in the thousands. When people are giving me all the numbers, just considering that each one is a MiSTer Multi-System 2, these guys have sold thousands of these on pre-order. So even though it's an extra price, people like what they're offering, they like what they're getting, and they are ordering that. So, you know, hats off for someone for actually trying to compete and also doing a job. Not getting the price down there, but that's difficult when you're manufacturing stuff in the UK compared to places in or locations in Asia. So guys, I'm gonna kind of end it here. So S tier has to be the SuperStation 1 with everything that it offers, the quality of the actual product, the injection molded case, just how it's coming along, the front end it comes with. It just sounds like a no-brainer. If you want to get into MiSTer FPGA gaming for the first time and you want like all the snazmataz with it, then this is a really, really, really good option. A+ is a super good choice because, you know, unless you want to run optical media, I don't care for optical media. I don't care for running cartridges. I am happy running my backup ROMs on these devices. So for me, like, these will be top, right? So I'm really happy with these. It does everything I need it to do. Yes, this has extra bells and whistles, like the NFC reader stuff. I think it's great, but I don't really use it. I work from a corner in my bedroom, but all these options are really, really good. You know, something like the SuperStation 1 or the MiSTer Multi-System 2, you can make a whole bunch of NFC cards, have them in a big file, you know, a big, like, I don't know, like a tray or something, all the different games that you like, all the different systems. And if you've got it in your front room and people come around, you just tap it on there and the game just loads up. So yeah, there's definitely some really, really cool stuff there. So again, not super interested in that. I'm just happy loading off a menu. So these are really, really good choices. Then you've got the MiSTer Multi-System 2, which has brought the price down. But when you tally up everything and you add like the power supply into it, it does bring the cost up quite significantly compared to the two in the A+ tier list. And then finally, B tier list are the original sellers like Ultimate MiSTer and MiSTer Add-ons. Even though they sell other products that are really, really great and they've engineered, unfortunately they use the original DE10 Nano, which for all intents and purposes, the large number of people entering the MiSTer FPGA for the first time, if they've heard of the cheaper alternatives, that is where they are going. So it'll be interesting to see the SuperStation 1 when it comes out, how well the MiSTer Multi-System 2 does, and how the QM Tech MiSTer and the MiSTer Pi does. And if the the original DE10 Nano pre-configured bundles are still selling and what rate they're selling at. Anyway, guys, that's kind of it for the video. If you enjoyed it, if you want to see more tape maker stuff, do let me know, because I do kind of like enjoy doing these and kind of putting things into a little bit of a structure. Also want to say, guys, these are my opinions. They may not be 100% correct, but I'm just putting the facts out there. I've taken the side of, if I didn't have a MiSTer and I was looking to buy a MiSTer and I was weighing up all my options, what would be the best and what would be the worst. And this is my ideology behind it, and these are my thoughts behind it. I'm not saying they're right. Please discuss below if you think I've gotten something wrong, or if there's something that you would have improved upon. Anyway, guys, be freaking awesome to one another. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.